Alright, hello again. Back to Moria. Back to the depths out of that cursed town. Brief heads up. My wife is out of country at the moment. 3 hours behind me in terms of time. And she may be waking up at any moment and calling me, and if she does, I'm going to answer her and hang up on you. So this may be a short video if she calls, in which case I'll resume after I finish talking to her. And if it's not, then, whatever. Forget what I said. I've had a dreaded thought. What if they stole that Detect Invisible staff as well? Whoops, wrong. Using the wrong... What is going on here? Why is this doing this? Alright, whatever. Oh, we still have that. Okay. That's right. We have our crappy... Only one spell book. We have several things to drop or have stolen from us. Shards of pottery, teleportation ring, aggravate monster ring. That was an awful trip to town. I will be mad about that for years to come. I was about to say let me detect traps and let me detect invisible, or rather not invisible, I don't want to waste a charge, but detect evil right now. But I remembered then that I can't do that. Hey, I picked that lock. That's a bright side. Do I still have a shovel? Did they get that too? No, I can't get that, can they? That's on my equipment. Yeah. That's safely strapped to my back. What are we looking at here? Should we tunnel into this? Dark rock. That's the magma shit, I think. Dark rock. Trying to see if any of them are quartz. I don't know. That's the other problem, of course. If it's saying dark rock and it's not, let's not do this right now. And it's quartz, or if it's dark rock for magma or quartz, then how the hell do I know what I'm looking at? Oh, I can't light up this room either. Damn you, damn you, damn you, squint-eyed rogue. I'm going to gouge your squint eyes out the next time I see you. I didn't see what I got there. What was that? Slimy mushroom. Perfect for stew. Giant fruit fly. These guys can multiply, just like lice, etc. So you want to be a little quick about getting rid of them. They're worth a pittance in experience points, though. I'll look at them the next time we see them to stay up to snuff on what exactly they're worth. You'll see, you can watch how fast our hit points are coming back now. We just healed up 1 point. If we take 1 step, 2 steps, every 2 steps we get back a hit point now. I think that'll continue to get better yet. Open door, whatever. Black Yeek. I mentioned a couple of videos ago that I'd tell you the trivial information I've learned about Yeeks, and it's not even gameplay information, it's anecdotal information. But that information has to do with, what the fuck is a Yeek? It's a question I had. I assumed, oh, jeez, don't steal from me, okay? I'm having a really rough day, brigand. I got hold of my backpack. I tried blinding this guy before and it didn't work, so I'm afraid to even try it again and waste the time. Son of a... I'm not enjoying thieves. I don't know what he got. He didn't get my pottery shards, my teleportation ring, or my aggravate monster ring, so he didn't get the crap I want stolen. Die 1,000 deaths. You know what? I am going to frustratingly just slaughter you. Here we go. You're done. Holy Book's still there. Words of Recall are still there. Detect Invisible still there. I don't know what he got. I do not know what he got. I may go pause the video later on and be like, what the hell did he get? Creeping copper coins. Anyways, yes, I was curious as what a Yeek was. I assumed it was some obscure mythology. I don't know. Asian mythology, Scandinavian mythology, something like that. And to be perfectly honest, nobody has a definitive answer as to what a Yeek is. Why Robert Konecki put Yeeks in his game. Novice Mage. But there is a tentative answer. There's somebody who's... I forget the name, I apologize. I should know the names of different people associated with this game besides just Konecki. Somebody who claimed to be the editor, and I assumed he meant the editor of the something to do with the code. I don't know. I assume he's associated with the game in some way. And he was trying to figure out what Yeeks were. And his either hypothesis or what he learned or what have you. And let me actually, before I continue the story, is check my light source is at 6912. Let's attack the silver jelly, and if he steals our light, or takes our light from us, we'll immediately check. Well, he didn't, which is a good thing, but it annoyed me because I wanted to test that theory. What the fuck was I saying? His statement as to what he believes Yeeks are, to the best of his knowledge. There is an author who everybody online in this Reddit column or whatever the hell it was I was reading, some sort of ancient message board posts from 2001, knew full and well who this author is. So he's probably some famous fantasy or sci-fi author. But I'll be honest, I have no idea who it was. I remember his last name was Beam. No, Piper. Piper? Was it Beam Piper or Piper Beam? I forget already. There was an author who made a series of sci-fi books that involved an alien species known as Fuzzies. And the Fuzzies, apparently, they were a rather primitive race, little half-height, humanoids up to your waist or up to your knees or something, and they were fuzzy in nature, like Ewoks, I guess. And they spoke at a frequency that was very, very high-pitched, so humans couldn't hear the bulk of their speech. But the one word that would drift into human hearing range, for whatever reason, was the word yeek, the sound effect yeek. So, what this gentleman was guessing, and was reasonably confident in, was that that word became the basis for some monster that Robert Konecki threw in the game. And if Robert ever listens to this podcast, which is 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds, oh, I can't light up this room, damn it. Tell me the definitive truth, because I'm curious. But that's his guess as to what it was. They also just may have needed a mushroom of major cures. They also may just have needed a monster for the letter Y, to utilize the full nature of their bestiary of 26 alphabet letters, or 52, I guess, because we use capital letters as well. And capital letter Y was already a Yeti. Anyways, so that's what he thinks the Yeeks are. A minor side note, in Ultima 3, certainly. Ultima 3 was the very first computer role-playing game I ever played. Ultima 3 Exodus. And one of the characters I made was a fuzzy mage. There was a character race called Fuzzies. And in the graphical depiction in the manual, they were like very, very short, fuzzy humanoids. So we may have discovered where Richard Garriott got that notion from. I always wondered where that idea came from. They disappeared in later Ultimas. They actually make a point of mentioning that in, I think it's Ultima 6. Addresses, to some degree, in some sort of museum. There's a place you can go and you kind of ask about the early Ultima history, or early history of the world before Ultima 6, and it talks about the fact that there used to be these other humanoids, including dwarves and elves and stuff, that have disappeared from Ultima. As it progressed, there was only really humans left in the towns. Don't know why. Just was. And Fuzzies were a casualty of that race culling as well, in the sense that they disappeared from the game. But I think that's where Richard Garriott got... Oh, fuck. I can't blind... Oh yeah, I can blind him. That's P-B... it's not B anymore. It's P-A-A. Southwest. Good. Let's kill him before he drains our strength. You can see, even though he's confused, he can sometimes... Oh, fuck me. He just did it. He can sometimes bump into me. Our strength is even lower than it was before we brought it up, although it would have been even lower yet if we hadn't healed it last time we were in town. We're down to 18 strength straight up. Incidentally, we've obviously been wrong about the quantity of swings we get with our bastard sword based on our strength. It's not 2. I realized that in the town, actually. We were hitting those people in the town for 1 swing, so I don't actually know the calculation required to determine how many swings you get with a weapon. I'd like to find that out in a clear and concise table that is not baffling like the one I saw. Anyways, we are also talking, I don't know, in a previous video, I don't remember which, oh, damn it, one of these guys who can blind me. Let's kill him as quickly as possible. I could try to, turnabout's fair play. Let's try to blind him. Oh, I lost my concentration. There, I blinded you. How do you like it? Oh, you son of a bitch. Alright, well, you're dead. So, haha, joke's on you. Let's rest further. Get our mana back. Rest further yet. What are we trying to learn in terms of spells? A. We still need to test the chant spell. We'll try that next time we see an enemy in a room or something where you have time to prepare. Exodus, Ultima 3 Exodus was the very first computer RPG I ever played. And we were talking in an earlier video about clarity in game rules. And this is another, to me, perhaps the ultimate example of a lack of clarity. In that particular game, Ultima 3. Ultima 4 introduced talking. You could literally press the letter T and push towards a town person. And then you could have a conversation with it wasn't quite a menu-driven conversation like you'd see now in, say, Mass Effect or something, but it was akin to that. You picked up on keywords, they said, and if you typed them in, they'd have more to say. So you could have a limited dialogue with them. Ultima 3 did not have that. Ultima 3 had press T, instead of press T to talk, it had press T to transact. And with 95% of all the... If you did it with a shopkeeper, that meant like, hey, I want to shop at your store. If you did it with a standard townsperson, on the other hand, it essentially meant I want to talk to you. The thing was, in Ultima 3, they only had one thing to say. If you talked to somebody once, they'd tell you something, whatever it was. Go to such and such a town and talk to so-and-so. Or if you talk to them again, it would once again be go to such and such a town and talk to so-and-so. They literally each only had one sentence they could convey to you via the transact command. There we go. Yum. Now, because that's true of literally every character in the game, except for one, I ran into a problem. We were talking about Fuzzies earlier. I had a Fuzzy Mage. My very first, my favorite character in Ultima 3 Exodus that I made, and the earliest character I made, I never had to resurrect him, he managed to survive tons of battles, was a Fuzzy Mage. And the way that game worked, you could kill monsters to get experience. I know I'm not going near you, sir. You could kill monsters to get experience, and as you got experience, you leveled up. But there was a limit to how high your stats could go, and there were remedies you could do to raise your stats. You had to travel to this alternate world via a whirlpool and purchase upgrades to your stats, but in terms of your hit points, say, they would climb to like 600, maybe it was 300 hit points or something like that, which sounds like a lot, but it wasn't in the context of the game. And that's as high as they would go. It turns out that's not the case. If you went into a certain dungeon or certain dungeons and found these marks, I don't remember what exactly they were. You found these marks, they could it would allow you to raise your hit points higher. But it would only allow you to raise your hit points higher if you went back to the castle and talked to the king, Lord British. I'm going to continue moving here. I may have to interrupt this story as I encounter things. Did this door get opened by somebody? Yeah. But again, remember, in the game, talking to each person only has one result. And I'd already talked to the king. He said something like, I don't know, go have a good day. Whatever the hell he said. He said something. I can't search for secret doors with PAG anymore, damn it. I have to search manually. So because of that, I assumed, I think fairly reasonably, that he had nothing else to say. Whoa, this son of a bitch, bandit. Yeah, at least he's taking my gold. You can take my gold. I don't really care if you take my gold. Interesting, it seems like some bandits only take gold and some bandits only take items. That may be coincidence, but I don't know that it is. There's usually a symmetry in these vaults as well. So if there's a door here in the center of this, and there's a door, I'm trying to point with my finger, that's not going to help you. There's a door right here, 2 away from the center. Door here, 2 away from the center. I guarantee you there's a door 2 away from the center here and a door 2 away from the center here. These aren't created algorithmically. I think these are somewhat designed. That's that dude again. Let's try blinding him. A. Yeah, you're confused. And you're dead. Alright, search. Search the hell out of this area. Yep. Vorpal bunnies. Okay, another rodent. They can multiply. They can multiply fast. I actually don't know if some characters multiply faster than others. I believe it. You know what it is? It says they move quickly. That's what it is. They move erratically and quickly, but every time they move, it means movement doesn't mean they just move. It means they get a turn. And every time they get a turn, they might multiply. That's one of the actions they can do. So with that in mind, I guess like a worm mass moves slowly. It's not going to multiply anywhere near as fast as a rodent. So there is actual accuracy to that. Some creatures multiply faster than others, the ones who can breed explosively. These have a potential of being very dangerous to me. All right, I don't care about recalling that anymore. Let's just kill them. So yeah, I think fairly reasonably, if I already talked to the guy and he said the one thing he has to say, you know, go have a good day in my kingdom, whatever the hell he said. There was no reason for me to suspect that he... Oh, fuck, get out of my way. I have to kill these Vorpal bunnies before they multiply. What are you? You better not be a king cobra. Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, get out of here. There was... Oh, no. Alright, let's close this door. At least I don't have to worry about those ones anymore. Let's kill the Vorpal bunny to my left so he can't multiply. Okay, they might be multiplying in that room, but at least we can deal with this guy safely. And he's dead, okay. Alright, where was I? Yeah, if he said the one thing he has to say, there was no reason for me to suspect that if I went back to him a second time, he'd say something else. But if you have this mark, and you go back to him, then he'll raise your health. And so I literally had a level 63 Fuzzy Mage. Level 63. Who was still at basically the beginning health. It might even been literally the beginning health. It might not have even been... I don't need to close this again. We've killed them all. I don't even know if I got him to like 300. I don't remember if that was true. He might have been stuck at the beginning health until you got these marks. But I literally had a level 63 mage before I learned there was an option to raise your health. That is a horribly unclear design decision. You can't have something that is universally true in all cases except one, and expect your players to ever figure that out. Shame on you, Richard Garriott. That said, it was obviously an awesome game because I continued to play. Even when I had a level 63 mage who couldn't advance past his beginning health, I still kept playing the damn game. Whoa, whoops. What did it say there? You bash it, but nothing interesting happens. I guess I'm bashing the open door. Bizarre. Incidentally, I did read that when you bash open a door, you can't... It's supposed to get broken, but maybe it's only when monsters bash it open. Because I've bashed it open now twice and tested it, and you've seen it has opened just fine. We're not going to spend as long in the dungeon this time around as we did last time. Probably. We might explore this full level if we can. Maybe not in this one playthrough. What did that say? It casts a spell. See, there's something in the darkness here. If I had my light spell, I could figure it out. It casts a spell and I'm moving slower. Okay. Oh, shit. Orc Shaman and, what is the other guy? Red Naga. Damn it. You know what I'm going to do is get the hell out of here. I'm going to read this phase door scroll. I don't want to risk him taking more of my strength while I'm slow. And at least I can lead them up here. I can maybe get them into a... It's broken. There's the Naga. At least I can fight him one at a time, and I'm not slow anymore. He may well drain my strength, but at least I can take him on it. In the best of possible circumstances. We're definitely reaching a level where it's... he's casting a spell again somewhere. He's probably in the hallway. There he is. We're definitely reaching a level where you can see the monsters are becoming much more of a threat. A lot of them drain your stats. They cast spells. And that I don't want that to give you the impression that, hey, we're getting deep. We're not. We're at 500 feet. And I did read again in the manual, starting at level 50, there's almost a certain chance that the Balrog will show up on each level. So it's not like you have to chase him down to level 100. But starting at level 50, or probably on level 50, the Balrog will show up. It says almost certain. Maybe it's not certain. But even if that's the case, we are what? Out of 2,500, we're 20% of the way deep. And we're already meeting monsters that are, frankly, freaking the shit out of me. So I don't even want to think about how bad it's going to get. We don't need that, but we'll keep it for theft purposes for the moment. I think I finished the story about Lord British, didn't I? I finished nagging Richard Garriott for allowing me to get to that level and not informing me that there was an option to somehow fix my character. So bottom line, guys, I think clarity is probably might be the single most important trait in game design. You can't ask your players to just frickin' intuit things and expect that they're going to do so. It's one of the problems I've always had with a lot of adventure games. I can like adventure games sometimes, but there's often a solution. Adventure games, for those who don't know, are either the old text games like by Infocom where you type in commands, or more modern things like the Sierra games. I guess those aren't modern, but Police Quest and Leisure Suit Larry and blah blah blah. They can be fun, that's for sure. But there's often they create puzzles that you're expected to solve, and oftentimes there's only one. Oh, I'm confused. I probably should have cleared out the room elsewhere first in case there's other things in here. All right, it's dead. There's often only one solution to a puzzle. It's whatever solution the designer of the game figured out. But it's not clear. Like, if you don't think the same way they do, you may not think of it. And for that matter, you may have a solution that, frankly, is just as viable in the real world. And because it's not what they thought of, it's ineffective. Clarity. At all times, people, clarity. We can go down to the next level, right? We are personally level 15. So we want to go down to depth 11, which would be 550 feet. So let me find a staircase. I'll go down. So at least the next time we were to recall down. Oh, hey, hello, sir. We'll be deeper. We won't repeat this level. I'm not suggesting we're going to head back to the surface right away or anything, but probably soon we will, because I need to replace that lost book. I hate walking around unable to cast those basic spells that I rely on to light up rooms and search for doors and occasionally traps and detect evil and all kinds of crap like that. I feel neutered. Neutered. Why is that a hard word to pronounce this morning? Who are you? Greedy little gnome. He can steal my shit, but I'll kill him fast. Alright. I don't mind them as much as I mind brigands because they die so much easier. There's a staircase down, but as long as there's stuff to explore, I'll keep walking around this level. But what was that? No. I miss it. There's an invisible guy around here. Oh, I can use my detect invisibility, can't I? Let's try it. Let's find out if this works. Shift Z, or Shift Z for Americans. I've been saying Z a lot, but the Canadian pronunciation is Z. I think the British pronunciation too, although I heard a British dude say Z the other day, and I was like, oh, for shame, sir. Alright, detect invisible. K. I don't see anything. Did I kill it? If so, I just wasted a... No. It must have just got away. Unless it was just not... Maybe it wasn't even invisible. It was in the darkness, and I don't think that can be possible, because I would have seen it if it was adjacent to me. It may have moved, like, off the screen. It may have moved to the south, say, and now be down in this section. If we see something invisible again, we'll try it again. Oops, disenchanter mold. We do know things about them that we should be, a bit cautious about. It can touch to disenchant, which I think means it can, if it touches me, it can drain, the pluses of enchantment from armor. Kind of like acid, to be honest, which basically does the same thing as long as there is a plus. Although I don't think this guy can remove a base armor class. I think it can't go to negatives, I'm guessing. You can only remove pluses. Or it might be that it drains charges from staves and wands. That'd be an interesting effect. But let's just kill it as quick as we can. I'm not... it touches you. I don't know what that meant. Oh, it touches you. There's a static feeling in the air right there. Something of mine. Just holy fuck. My bastard sword, which was, what, +2, +3, is now +0, +2. Like, it doesn't drain like +1. It drains a shit ton. This thing is terrifying. I should not be standing here going toe-to-toe with it. Why am I doing this? I'm gonna. I want it dead now. Oh my god, let's see. Yeah, my sword is all the way back to a base standard sword. He took out +5 pluses off that sword. Alright, well, lesson learned. Those things are a lot more dangerous than I thought. I thought they only drained +1s, like acid would. It's an interesting effect. I'm not saying that's a bad effect. In terms of game design, I love it. It differentiates it from acid because acid only seems to take +1 away, and maybe only from armor, I'm not sure. What does this guy got a special ability? He has special abilities too. He can breathe to corrode. Like this guy has acid, theoretically. But the acid can only take +1 away, or 1 away. But it can push it into the negatives. I don't think the disenchanter can push it into the negatives. You can't get a negative enchantment based on the... Is my torch out? No. No, it's just a staff laying there. Okay. Can't carry leather scale mail. Yes, I can. I'm getting rid of my pottery shards. What do you think of that? And taking this leather scale mail. Let's at least fill up our inventory slots before we head back to the surface. And probably go down a level as well, for sure. So the next time we come back, we're at the deeper depth. We're not... And let's do it now. There's nothing else around here that I can casually see. Okay. We need to fill up another few inventory slots. We have things we can drop. Ring of Teleportation, Ring of Aggravate Monster. We dropped these 2 for sure. Staff of Darkness. We have at least 3 things. Pebbles are at least sellable, so we'll find at least 3 more items, and then we will get out of here. We have an iron wand we should probably try to use at some point as well. A mushroom of confusion. We don't need that. That's worthless. Or maybe not. Maybe you sell it for 1 because it is food, but I'm not going to even pick it up. That doesn't count. But hey, look at that. We know what it is because we took the time to sell it before, so we're not going to get tricked into eating it. I hear a door burst open. I think when you hear a door burst open, it actually means it is like burst in the sense of is this guy not slow moving? Let's zap him with our iron wand to find out what that does. J. West. Stinking cloud envelops a creature. There's a scream of agony. I'm going to keep that for now. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It does more than, say, a magic missile, but not a lot of damage. But it does encompass, when you use it, it hits like an area effect. So whatever you target, I think like it and all the surrounding squares get affected. So it's great for getting rid of things like lice and that kind of stuff. You can take out a whole bunch at once. So we're definitely keeping that wand for now. Is this guy coming back to me? Come back to me. He wandered away. Here's the door that I bet you is broken. You see an open door? Can I close it out of curiosity? Oh yeah, I guess I can. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if burst open means, always means it was destroyed, as opposed to, you know, damp or opened. I didn't kill him with that thing, did I? Screams of agony. Doesn't say that. I don't think he's dead. I'm going to keep tunneling here, 1 turn at a time, so I don't accidentally ignore the icky thing if he steps back towards me. More to the northwest. If I didn't, maybe I did kill him. I don't see him. He either wandered a hell of a long way away, or I killed him, and I'm surprised it didn't say it dies, if that's the case. What is this? A white mushroom patch. What do we know about it? It can release spores to paralyze, but it's not that tough. It's found at 250 feet. I can probably kill it fairly easily. Is there anything else we need to test out, like another staff or something? I do want to test these things before we go to the surface, so I don't have to waste identify scrolls on them. Shift Z L. The white mushroom patch starts moving slower, so apparently that is a staff of slowing down things. I'm sure that's its official title. Staff of slow monsters. That's kind of cool. Could be useful to get away from certain things. Maybe we'll keep that as well. These are some useful items. Oh, door open below me. Let's head down here and see what's coming. A yeek. A fuzzy. Alright, I'm not trying to look anymore. I'm trying to kill. If looks could kill, we'd be all set. Ration of food. I guess the yeek dropped that because it wasn't there before. Oh, I instinctively want to light up a room, but I can't. Green Naga. I don't want it. Let's try and blind it. P. A. A. It's confused. I hit it. Alright, it's dead. Here comes a fruit fly. No, green fly. Okay. Green flies cannot multiply. Fruit flies can. Which makes sense when you consider, you know, that fruit flies are literally used for scientific experiments because they... let's drop the Staff of Darkness. Because they can multiply so fast. And are therefore ideal candidates in testing genetic propagation and that kind of thing across family lines and brief periods of time. The javelin's not going to be worth a lot of money, but again, let's just find a few more items and we will then word of recall our way back up to the surface. I want that spell book before I continue. I feel very uncomfortable entering darkened rooms and not being able to light them up. Giant red ant. Do we know anything about them? Or are we down to depths where I've killed 8 of them? They can bite to weaken. There you go. Sting to weaken. P. A. A. It's confused. It's a bit of an advantage. Yeah, even when they're confused, they might... I think they wander in random directions, but if they happen to wander in your direction, that counts as an attack. So it's not like it's a foolproof way of saying, okay, he can't attack me, but it's better than nothing, because it cuts down on the chance that they will attack you. I guess if you do it in an open room, it gives it a better chance of wandering in a random direction, although that's not necessarily a good thing, because you it may wander away from you, and then you chase it, and then it ends up attacking you the next turn. So in a hallway, I guess if it moves, say we did that here and it randomly chose to move to the north, I assume it would just pass its turn because it couldn't move, and then I'd get a free attack against it. So maybe confusion is a more effective tool to use in a tight corridor than in a room. I don't know enough about how the game handles that logic. That's how it would handle it in caverns. If it tried to move and it bumped into a wall, that would just basically be it passing its turn. It's interesting. As I mentioned, what am I dropping here? Let's drop our Ring of Aggravate Monster. Take this leather armor. One more item will teleport back to the surface, I think. As I mentioned, I made Caverns of Zascasian. I first programmed that game in 1995, the original version. I won't go into the full history of it. Let's get these things. But I did so in... I'm also going to test that staff before I go back to the surface. I did so in isolation from almost all other roguelikes. I had seen the game... What am I trying to drop? There is something to drop. I remember that. I have a shitty ring, don't I? A ring of teleportation. There we go. Drop N. Alright, we'll test the staff and then probably head back. And then probably call it a video, because we're just a little past the half-hour mark now. Alright, let's test and see if we can use a staff while afraid. I don't know if you can, but good way to find out. Let's use our Sycamore staff. It starts moving faster, so that's a crappy staff. Alright, I'm too afraid to fight, though. So when you're afraid, you can't fight, but you can use stabs. And possibly pray. Let's kill it. We're going to drop... Sorry, we are going to stick around for a few more minutes, because we're going to drop this staff and pick up something else to fill that slot. Yeah, when I first made Caverns of Zascasian, the only 2 games that I would now recognize as roguelikes, although again, I had never heard of Rogue and knew nothing about that game or any of these games back then. the two games I had seen that were akin to roguelikes were Dungeon on the Commodore PET and Sword of Fargol on the Commodore 64. So I really had limited experience with this genre, even though the genre had evolved and was flourishing years before I started Caverns. So that said, I find it interesting. Oh, okay, we went up a level. We can learn new prayers. We can learn resist heat and cold. Nice to know, I guess. We're going to drop right now that staff. Just so you remember, we have one inventory slot. What was it? It was haste monsters. Find one more item, and then we're getting the hell out of Dodge. Where am I going? It's interesting that, given the game was designed in isolation from all these mainstream roguelikes, that a lot of the effects are similar. My confusion functions the same, or very similar to the confusion in this game. And that was not because I copied this game. It was just something that came to me. I didn't even know they had confusion in this game. It's just an effect that I thought of, and it makes you wander randomly. The key difference, I guess, between this game and Caverns, in terms of confusion only, there's a million differences, but is that if you pass your turn in this, you don't wander. In my game, you do, and you can still cast spells and stuff when you're confused in Caverns. It literally just means you wander a random direction every turn, whether you like it or not. It tends to last longer too. It's often like 30 turns or 60 turns or something. It can be very deadly if you're standing next to fire or something and you start wandering through it. But yeah, a lot of the effects are very, very similar. I just find that an interesting fact. The one that's very different, you can hallucinate in Caverns. You can hallucinate in, not in this game, I don't think, but in some rogue variants you can. Maybe you can in this, I don't know. What am I going to a shovel for? I'm not going to dig through the door. Force. Come on, I got to find an item so I can get out of here and go back to the town and call this a video. Are you an item? All right, I'm going to cast the Word of Recall right now, because we still have a few turns left, and we will kill this centipede, etc. while it bites me. I feel very sick. So red centipedes can poison, apparently. Yeah, which is not a terrible thing. Poison's no big deal. And a giant white tick, maybe? Okay, quartz vein, I don't care. Show me the damned bug. Yeah, which can also poison. Let's just try and kill it before we head back to the surface if we get a chance. If we can do so before our spell yanks us up. Don't wander away from me. I'm trying to kill you. Look at me while I'm trying to kill you. Yeah, the one difference there is that's one of the key differences. Hallucinate in a lot of these games makes the monsters that exist around you appear to be different monsters than they are. Whereas in Caverns, it literally creates like illusionary monsters that aren't there at all, that kind of charge in at you, and you think they're real and they're not, and you realize as you step towards them, okay, it's just in my head. I think that's a kind of an interesting difference. That's one of the few differences in terms of effects that exist. Okay, we're done. I'm getting the heck out of here. Have a lovely day. Look at it's daytime. Daytime in the place. We're back in our deadly city, but during day. So you have a lovely day as well. When we come back, we will have a lovely day in town. I'm hoping it's a much faster day in town than last time. We have much less to do here. And hope to God that right here, there are some goddamned beginner's prayer books waiting for us. See ya all later.